Hi everyone, my name is Moni,
And I'm Naveen from Before You Play.
and welcome to our spring vlog.
Springtime.
It's been so long since we've done one of these. Spring has sprung, so welcome. Summer is actually almost here, and we used to try to do these kinds of vlogs with some sort of regularity. We used to do them like every month.
We used to do a monthly,
Yeah.
but that became too much
Yes.
because sometimes like it would be like the 15th, we hadn't released one and we're thinking about like the first and we're like, yeah, okay, let's go to a quarter.
Yeah.
Once a quarter seems pretty good.
But
Yeah.
we realize now that we can't. We can't do these with any sort of like
True regularity.
Yeah, true regularity. So we just do them whenever we have just something to talk about. Because also we do a monthly vlog for our Patreon community, and we also don't really want to seem redundant. And also we don't know how many people really care about what we have to say that's
Yeah.
not like actually about board games.
Yeah.
So anywho, we hope you are enjoying your spring so far. I think we've mentioned in a previous video that we always go on daily walks. And I love this season because all of the jasmines are finally blooming.
Yeah, in Southern California, we got a lot of like blooming going on right now. So
There's all this blooming. I don't know.
bloomage. Yeah, so our neighborhood is like there's a lot of trees, like a lot of very unique ones, and every time we
Yeah.
walk around, we notice something new, and so all the flowers are kind of blooming. Everything smells really, really nice,
Yeah, it smells amazing.
especially right
And
after the
you-
gardeners come. Yeah,
You can smell them from like such a far distance away too, like when you're on a walk. And we don't live in like a neighborhood that has a very like, there are those neighborhoods where everything looks a certain way.
yeah, like cookie
So
cutter.
yeah, we don't live in a neighborhood like that. So there's so many trees, and they are all random, like
Yeah.
random types. There are a lot of palm trees in Southern California that are not actually native to Southern California. So you also see those like randomly
Scattered, yeah.
But it's really fun to just sort of walk around and see the trees finally have leaves. So, anywho, let us know how you've been and what you've been up to. The beginning of the year sort of started a bit rocky for us, to say the least. And things are sort of, picking up, coming
Yeah.
together. We have a lot that's sort of going on right now that we're going to be talking about, as well as, towards the end of the year. But first, we actually kind of wanted to share something that one of our Patreon community members made for us, because we're just so in love with this. They sent it to us in the mail, and it's a really cute Dexter crochet.
Crochet, yeah.
It's a
look at this
Dexter
thing.
guy.
So Dexter is our dog, our wiener dog. If
Yeah.
you don't know,
Our
we
dachshund.
used to a dachshund, yeah. He used to always wear a bow tie,
Hmm.
and so we over the past like several years just kind of lazy with just putting on his bow tie.
He's 13.
He's a-
I don't know. After a while, I was like, "Do you like this?"
What's funny is
You
he
know what I
gets
mean?
when we bring it out, like his collar with the bow tie on it, he gets really excited about it.
Yeah,
But
I've
I
never
don't know what it
understood
is
that.
about that. He just like gets real like excited and he brings his neck up like
If
that.
you have
so.
a dog, does your dog react that way? Like, do they get really excited about wearing a collar?
Because
Like,
it's not even the collar's not even about like, oh, now we're going for a walk. It's
Yeah.
just about you're just gonna hang out for the rest of the day in this collar until you go to bed.
because Dexter actually hates walks, so he just likes wearing the collar.
Yeah.
But yes, this used to
is
be
the guy.
representative of Dexter's daily look.
Look, yeah.
He just kind of runs
feral
around
now.
naked now. He's
Yeah,
very feral.
feral.
But anyway, I thought this was very cute.
Yeah.
And we wanted to share this little guy because he's going to be
You got the
in
eyebrow
back.
expression on there, which
Yeah,
is pretty impressive.
really nailed Dexter's eyebrows,
Yeah.
especially when Dexter was a bit younger. All of his browns have sort of faded
Into gray, yeah.
into gray, but super cute. Really love our Dexter crochet.
Yeah.
He's going to be sitting
He'll
back
be up there
there
on the thing
on
as
the
we
mantle.
intermittently change things out. There you go.
And speaking of Dexter, I know that earlier in the year we sort of shared his first, hopefully his last, major
Injury?
Injury.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sort of, I think it was in like February. I went on a trip with my family.
It was like
came
late
back.
January, early February when he got hurt.
His birthday is at the end of January, and then he got real excited about something, and he got injured, and the injury just kept getting worse, and it was like this whole really like a 6-week ordeal.
Yeah.
That was really scary.
First 2 weeks were really bad. Then it
Yeah.
got better the next 2 weeks. And then by like week 5, week 6, it was like significantly better.
Yeah, he was heavily
Yeah.
medicated, and just like our whole lives revolved around this.
We set that like
His
helicopter
doggy.
over him, like, oh, don't leave, don't
Yes.
move, don't like stay, and because he was supposed to be crate rested, but fortunately, with the medication, we were able to just room rest him, and then with that, with like limiting his ability to just kind of meander around the house and go up and down stairs. He's made what we think is a full 100% recovery. It seems like it. We are very cautious, though. We're not letting him go up and down the stairs on his own at
Yeah.
all.
He had like one minor incident actually this week, a few days ago, that we think might have just been a tummy ache. But in the moment, it was really scary because we thought, oh no, is this a relapse
Yeah.
of his symptoms? Like, what
'Cause
does this mean?
When dogs, like, it seems like with him, whenever something goes wrong, like he has the same, like, stares at us, like doesn't want to be with us, can't
so
settle
sad.
down.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh no, is that like what was in January or is this something new?
He hides like behind walls.
Yeah,
he'll like lay down and like just kind of
at the corner.
hug the corner of
Yeah.
a wall,
And
like
stare
far
back
away,
at us,
and
though.
just stare at us from across the room. It's like, it's the saddest thing.
Yeah.
But
Next day he woke up though and he was fine. So
Yeah. maybe it was a stomach.
maybe it was a stomach ache.
We're
Yeah, who
hoping.
knows?
But let's actually bring him out.
Where is he?
Oh my gosh. Okay, that took so much coaxing.
It
So
probably looked like a second, but that took about a minute and a half just to get him here.
Dexter has been on his warm blanket, his electric blanket, which he wasn't allowed to be on when he was injured. So
Yeah.
now he just really wants to be there. But
He doesn't want to be in this position.
he doesn't
right
want to be
now.
here right now. He wants to be on that blanket. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna say hi,
Say hello.
say
Dexter.
hello,
Say goodbye.
and then he'll
Oh,
come back.
There you go.
And just so you know, he's been banned from like going up and down the stairs. So there are some permanent life changes that he has accepted.
Yeah.
So
He still plays ball slightly though, so which is good. Still wants to chase after it, and he likes to chase after the ball, grab it, and then walk it
Walk
back,
back.
nice and slow. So he likes to reserve his energy for the chase.
all right,
All
I'm
right,
gonna put it
back you go.
But there you go. That is our Dexter update. Thank you again for everybody who's been wishing him well and asking for updates. Otherwise, in other news, we are going to be doing some traveling. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But before we do, I just want to bring up one of my other hobbies, which is comic books.
Monique loves comic
I
books.
love
I never got into them.
Yes.
I do appreciate the like art form, but for me, I just never really got into these.
Naveen's not a reader.
I'm not too big of a
But
reader.
the reason why I wanted to bring up comics and graphic novels is because recently we celebrated Free Comic Book Day. And this is like a yearly holiday. I think it's in the United States.
I think it's U.S. only. Yeah.
Maybe other countries celebrate as well. But
Actually, don't know.
basically, a lot of local comic book stores participate in this event, and they have a lot of different comics that are made specifically for Free Comic Book Day that are sort of like tasters of other comics that are from the different publishers themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I wanted to talk about it today is because I wanted to show some of the comics that I picked up, and because it's another sort of hobby of mine specifically that I would like to support. It's a very difficult industry.
Sounds like
I
it,
imagine.
yeah.
Like these are very small local stores,
Especially in
and
the age of the internet. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
it's that's a tough kind of store to keep up. Very similar, very adjacent to board gaming. And it's a shame because I think that a hobby like that is fantastic for like children, especially because it really encourages reading, you know, especially if kids don't like traditional styles of reading. I know one of my cousins especially introduced me to graphic novels because he really liked comics, and it's a nice sort of alternative to just standard
Books,
reading format,
yeah.
standard books. So I just wanted to show some of the comics that I picked up. And like I was mentioning, you know, I wanted to kind of encourage families out there to maybe consider bringing your kids to an event like this, just because they also have, you know, when you typically think of comics, if you're not into the hobby, you think of like superheroes, Marvel,
Yeah.
that kind of universe. I am not into Marvel at all. I don't like superhero stories. I really like graphic novels, and these are like really, really, really interesting stories that are like The Walking Dead. That TV show is from a graphic novel
Right.
series that I used to read, but it's really
Or
gory.
like The Watchmen.
The Watchmen, yeah. So many different really popular movies and TV shows are originally started as graphic novels. So there's a lot of adult themes, but especially at Free Comic Book Day, you'll see a large selection of like kids-focused ones. Like I pick up a few just so, you know, we have friends who have kids that I like to pass them off to. I don't really know them at all. I just sort of pick them up for their artwork.
Let's not get the glare on here. So we got Bad Kitty.
You don't have to say
Well,
what they are.
I'm
This
not
one was
ready.
a new one, Dr. Seuss. I thought was really cute. A Dr. Seuss graphic novel, I guess. There are tasters, like I said, and these are free typically. Each comic book store sort of has their own rule set as to like how you
3 per
pick these up.
person or something.
Sometimes
like
they
that,
require purchase, and usually they don't. And some of them, like this, are like a combination of a lot of different stories in one. I always love picking up Archie. This is like a classic.
Classic, yeah.
Everybody knows Archie. You probably know Archie.
You've heard of it at least.
And they
maybe,
always
yeah.
have like an Archie issue at these events. So, and then of course there are like the adult themed ones. So if you know a show called Black Mirror, they had a Black Mirror episode or issue that I haven't read any of
So
these
like
yet. But
Monique was saying, these are all like tasters. So like if you're into this, then you can springboard and like get into the other comics.
Yes.
Which I think you've discovered some.
I've discovered a lot via Free Comic Book Day. The way that I got into comics in general is through a comic called Scott Pilgrim. You probably have heard of it. If you haven't heard of the actual comic, you probably have heard of the movie. And I binged all of those. They're so interesting because they also have like comedy issues. They have comics about everything.
Yep.
And after that, I went to my first Free Comic Book Day. This was like
Years
this
ago.
was like in 2010 or something.
15 years,
A
huh?
really long time ago. I went to my first Free Comic Book Day and I picked up one that was about a comic called Lock and Key. So that's a very popular graphic novel series.
I think they
and
made a TV show.
I think they tried to.
Or they tried to.
I don't know if they actually like finished
Yeah,
it, but the
okay.
graphic novel is amazing. It's adult, gory. Just so you know, like a lot of these have adult themes that are not suitable for children. But if you're interested in that sort of like storytelling, so good. And one of the main reasons why I enjoy this format of storytelling is because the artwork is phenomenal in American comics, or like I don't even know if it's American, but just Western comics.
Western, yeah.
Because there's also like Japanese manga and there are manhwa, there are other types of comics around the world, but all of these are in color and they're just beautiful. So I also use this as an opportunity to support our local comic book shop. They usually have like an annual sale.
Some sort of deal
And
going
we
on,
just
yeah.
try to pick up as many titles that as I'm interested in. If you've heard of Scott Pilgrim, I picked up Snot Girl. I've never read any of these,
Yeah.
but this is by the same
This is
creator.
the first issue, right? Like something like
I
that.
think this is the first volume.
Volume,
I like
also.
to pick them up in volumes so I can just read like a slew of issues.
So I just learned about this. So an issue is just like one episode, but a volume is a
Yeah.
compilation of issues.
Yes.
So it's like this volume could have maybe 5 issues in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
another
Space-saving technology.
another series that I really loved is a series called Why the Last Man, which is about what happens if all of a sudden all of the males, I guess, in the world just
We're gone.
vanished. I think they passed away.
Oh, you didn't
And
wanna
then
say
now
it?
it's just
Okay.
there's only one man left,
The
I
last
guess.
man. So, but why?
But why exactly?
Why?
Why and
Okay.
like what happens and what would the world look like? It's really interesting. And
Okay.
a series like that, I think it was like 90 issues or something. So when the series finishes, then you have a series of volumes
I
that
see.
you can pick up.
Okay.
So
it's like
this is volume
binging
one.
later. Okay.
Snot Girl.
Very
I also
good.
picked up Little Monsters. If you've heard of any of these series, these are not new. So I've kind of been out of the game for a while. So I would love recommendations as well.
She gets back in once a year.
I do.
Yeah, which
And
then resparks everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I use it as an opportunity to like discover new series.
What do you got
One
here?
that I discovered recently in like the last time I went, it was called The Wicked and the Divine,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really interesting series that I would recommend. The Graveyard Club. Naveen actually saw this.
R.L. Stein, the Goosebumps guy.
We did this based off of
Name
recognition.
only.
So
I guess, yeah, he's
this
doing graphic novels.
R.L.
or
Stein,
comics.
I guess,
Cool.
made one. And then just a few more. Usagi Yojimbo, you probably familiar if you know anything about comics. This is a very, very old series, but this is like a 3-issue side quest
mission
story that
I happened to find.
it's like
yeah.
a rabbit warrior. And then the last 2 is just the very first issue of The Nice House on the Lake, which I've heard very good things about.
There's a bunch of
Graphic
skulls around
novel.
this woman, so I don't know what's going on.
Probably scary.
Mm-hmm.
And then The Winchester Mystery House.
Which is up north,
Which is
Northern
up north.
California.
So this is a fictional story, I'm assuming, based off of a real place. And this is a place that we've gone to like as kids, like on a school field trip. It's a really interesting house that the owner of it was aging.
The Winchester
Family.
the firearms company.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
okay, yeah, uh-huh.
I didn't remember that history.
Yes,
I
yeah.
was very young at the time.
Uh-huh.
I just remembered all of the spooky parts of it.
Right.
And so there was only one person, like an elderly woman, who was living in the house at the time. And
Probably this woman.
they had to, I
knows?
don't know. I don't know how, this is probably very fictional, but they had to make a lot of changes to the house to accommodate for her lifestyle. So like the steps were very small,
Yeah.
but like she would have steps that would lead to nowhere. And so there's a lot of lore
Hence why
that
it's the
surrounds
mystery
that house.
Okay.
Yes. So
I think they made a
don't know.
movie actually called Winchester like a couple
Oh,
years
they
ago.
did?
It's a horror movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we
Yeah.
clearly haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is it. I just wanted to share that. And I would love to hear if you attended Free Comic Book Day at your local shop or something.
She's always looking for recommendations.
Always.
Yeah.
Let's help keep these places alive.
So moving on, that is all the comic book stuff.
Yes.
We are going to be doing some traveling, like Monique was mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
We are going to be going to the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
It is Monique's grandfather's 90th birthday. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like a big family reunion. Everybody's going there. So it's going to be very hot. Looks like it's going to be rainy, but hot and humid.
Naveen has never
Be
been to the
very
Philippines
tropical-esque. Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm Filipino. So
wanna-
I have been to the Philippines a
Yeah.
few times, but it's been a long time. It's been at least 10 years.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't been to the Philippines since we've gotten into board gaming. So I know we have some viewers who are based in the
From the
Philippines.
Philippines,
If you have recommendations as to what the board game, I guess, scene is
yeah.
like, and where we can kind of check out the stuff that people are playing. We kind of did some research on like a couple of the
Shops.
the bigger board game stores
Mm-hmm.
that we might visit. But I am really looking forward to it because I really, really, really love mangoes. And
Yeah, I heard the fruit is great over there. So
Philippine
I'm really
mangoes
excited, yeah.
are the best.
The best,
The
okay.
best.
She
best
won't buy
mangoes.
mangoes here, like because she's like, no, it's
can't.
not the same.
It's
like,
the kind of the problem.
Where are you gonna get it? Yeah.
You know, when you taste the Philippine mango, it's like you can't really go back. They're
Yeah.
just so, they're so good. They're so
Alright.
sweet. If you like the sweeter kinds.
Yeah.
But Naveen is a bit worried because it
gonna be
is a
really hot.
very humid and hot country,
Yeah.
and we are going at sort of a peak heat.
Peak heat, yeah.
Time.
Can't move a birthday, so makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. It's gonna be really fun.
We're kind of excited and nervous at the same time. You know, this is a trip that's kind of like strangely timed, just because of everything that's kind of going on. But we sort of planned the trip before we knew all of this about all this uncertainty. But you only have so much time in the world, and you want to make sure that you really cherish and spend time with your family when you can. So we're really looking forward to seeing everybody there. And while we're there, we will try to do some content, maybe like a video or two.
Maybe one or two, yeah.
Maybe one in the
One,
Philippines,
a
because
video, yeah.
after that, we are actually taking advantage of our proximity to Japan.
Yes. So it's a 4-hour flight, so it's not that close, but
But
close enough.
the time frame
Yeah.
is perfect because the Tokyo Game Market Spring is happening this month as well.
Yeah, right around that window of time. So we'll be in the Philippines for several days, and then after we finish that, we're gonna go over to Tokyo, spend some time in Japan doing the Tokyo Game Market,
we're
and then
gonna
also
attend.
doing a little bit of traveling there.
Yes. So are you going to be going to Tokyo Game Market? I know a lot of people have been traveling to Japan really year round, but especially in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And the Tokyo Game Market has been sort of rising in popularity in the West, I think. So I would be very curious to know if anybody who is watching this is planning on attending. And just in general, if you have any recommendations for games that we should pick up in Asia, because I'm fairly certain that this is the last time we'll be able to do
For a long
this
time, yeah.
for a very long time. So
Yeah.
we're sort of going to try to make as the best use of our time and find all the trick-taking games that
Yeah.
we could find.
If you have any recommendations for games from Japan, and you know anything that we should be like having our eyes on or looking for, please let us know in the comments below, because there's a ton of games that we're not going to know much about when we go there. And so if we just can pick out those little gems ahead of time, that'll be great.
Otherwise, this upcoming trip has been our current focus. So content-wise, we've been filming a lot in preparation for
Leaving,
the
yeah.
trip. I don't think we quite hit our mark. So like the Suhi series is going to have to start
It'll
when
come
we
back later, yeah.
We just didn't have that kind of time. And then when we get back, we'll be hitting the ground running on everything that we need to do. Because we're also anticipating some life changes towards the end of the year that includes renovating our space.
Our house, yeah.
Which we've been trying to do for like 5 years.
It's time. Yeah, we
It's
got to get
time.
it done. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge finding where to film in the meantime. But there's like an area that we can. But we're probably going to be disturbing my parents a bunch.
So
yeah.
the whole point is don't be surprised if you see like the environment change.
Yeah.
specifically in the last quarter of the year. So please sort of give us grace. Hopefully we can maintain the quality of the video because, of course, the content is going to be the same. It's just the environment that will change. Content-wise, you may have already caught this, but we made a top 20 video that is basically 20 board games that are available now. We did this, by the time we released this video, we're probably already going to be overseas, and it'll probably have been a few weeks since that top 20, but if you haven't seen it, we've included a link in the description below to it because that's sort of an important one to us. We want to make sure that we are all sort of able to help support the industry in any way we can during this time. And by the way, it's kind of a ridiculous video, honestly. Like we sort of planned to talk about 20 games and we probably talked about like 60 games.
I think so we talked about 20 publishers.
Yeah.
And within those brackets of publishers, we talked about several games. So it was just kind of a rapid fire video.
We were kind of just like
spitballing it.
Yeah. So apologies if that was a little much. I think halfway through filming, even we were like, is this
Like, this might be a lot.
okay?
Yeah.
This might be too much.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's done is done. That video is up there, and we're going to be doing our best to do more top 10s this year. We've definitely been doing more Let's Talk Board Games episodes, and we hope to continue those. We are going to be planning a list in the future that incorporates people's shelf of shame.
Yeah, shelf of shame.
So we do have one request. We already asked this of our Patreon community, but for anybody out there who has a shelf of shame, which is basically games that
you've purchased, they've been sitting there for a while,
Yeah.
and you still haven't had a chance to play.
Yes.
If you have a list of games that are on your shelf of shame, basically games that you've purchased a while back, it's been sitting there for who knows how long, and these are like the ones that you look at and you're like, I would love to play this, but it's just not getting played. So we're trying to compile a list of like commonalities that a lot of people have and just try to incorporate it into a list.
Yeah, I would love to see like what is the number one game that is
Yeah.
on a majority of people's
Yeah, because
lists.
we have several. I mean, we have a whole shelf in the other room that we kind of pull from every so
Yeah.
often when we do those Let's Talk board games.
And maybe we can share in that video what
Yeah.
are the most egregious, the ones that we've
Like
had for the longest.
Whoa, yeah. So 'cause
So-
we have a lot of games that we've played, but also a lot that we haven't. And so we just kind of see what kind of the blend is out there in the community.
So please leave us a comment down below. This is something that we are sort of asking of you all. If you are interested in sharing, you could even just name like five titles or something, because I would love to hear what games you have unplayed. And other than that, I think that is it for today. We talked about a lot of random things, big rant on comics. And we've also asked for a lot of things from you all if you have any recommendations. So comics or graphic novels, shelf of shame stuff. Games from Asia. And if you have been to the Philippines or lived there, recommendations there as well.
So I expect a lot of detailed information coming in, I guess.
Feel free to chime in on
whatever you feel.
Literally
you need.
whatever
Yeah.
you want. And also let us know what games you've been playing. Top 3 games maybe from the past 3 months. It's been a while since we've been able to just talk
And
like
ask,
this.
yeah.
So we have a lot of catching up to do. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching our vlog. We will see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.